Hello, welcome to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be adding different blocks to our world. So if I run our previous code that we made, you'll see that we have our simple chunk of all dirt blocks, and we're going to be adding grass to the top of this chunk in this video. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to have to do is add a block type to our enum of block types, and we're going to add grass here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be changing the texture that we're going to be using. Up until now we've been using this dirt text.png. And this dirt text.png is just the dirt itself. We're going to be switching to using a texture atlas. And I don't remember if I gave it to you guys in the beginning, but this is the texture itself and it's linked in the description. What it is basically, it's also known as a sprite sheet. It's just a texture that contains a ton of different subtextures. And so what you do is you actually only have to bind this texture once, and then you can just specify the coordinates of each texture on this atlas. This makes it really a lot more efficient when doing a game like Minecraft where you have a ton of different textures. Instead of having to bind and unbind each texture for each block, you can instead just do this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into this. So what we're going to do here is, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add a new class in our world folder here, and this is going to be the texture data.cs. And this texture data.cs is going to be a static class. And for now, it's just going to contain one data structure, and you have to bear with me here because this is a huge data structure, but it is necessary for organizational purposes. So just read along and I'll explain it. So we need a public static read-only dictionary, and the key value is going to be the block type, and the value is going to be a subdictionary, so a dictionary, and the key value is going to be faces, and the value is going to be a list of vector 2s. Okay, and I'm just going to call this like block type UVs. They're going to be equal to a new, and it autofills for us, thankfully. We're going off screen with one variable declaration, so that's great. And this is our variable. So what this is going to do is it's going to store the texture data for each of our block types, and it's going to store it in a dictionary of each face in the same way that we did it with our vertices here, where we have a dictionary with our faces for each different vertex. And this way we can specify which UVs we want to actually add. So let's add one for our dirt. Since we're using our atlas here, the dirt texture, or the dirt UVs, are actually going to change. This is now over here instead of the entire face. And we have to take into account a couple things before we make these coordinates. One, in our texture class, we are flipping the vertices, we are flipping the image on load, meaning that our coordinates are inverted. The second is that our texture atlas itself is 16 blocks by 16 blocks, so meaning that our coordinates are going to be out of 16 blocks. So now let's go ahead and make some data for this. So for the first one, we're going to have to specify a block type dot dirt for our original one, and then for this we're going to make a new dictionary of faces and lists. Okay, and then here we're going to add our first one, which is going to be faces dot front, and this is going to have a key value of a new list of vector 2. And this is going to have some stuff in here. And so for this, I'm just going to go to our block and take that data that we have already, copy it, and paste it. What we're going to do is we're going to adjust it to where it needs to be. So the dirt in our atlas is over 2 and up 15. And we're going to do the bottom left, bottom right, top left for our texture. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be 2f divided by 16f, and then it's going to be 15f divided by 16f, and then it's going to go over to the bottom right, so it's going to be 3f divided by 16f, and it's going to be 15f divided by 16f. Then for the next one, it's going to be again 3f divided by 16f for the top right, and now that we're at the top of the texture, we just do 1f. Then it's going to be 2f divided by 16f for the top left. So now what we have to do is just add a comma here, take this, and just make 6 of them. Faces.front, faces.back, faces.left, faces.right, faces.top, faces.bottom. And because our dirt is the same for all of these, we don't have to actually change anything, but the grass is going to be a bit different. Let's first get this new system working with our existing chunk here. So we have to go to our block for this. So we're going to completely change this. Actually, we're going to create a new public dictionary of, and this is going to be a key value of faces. and a value I keep on saying that, of list of vector 2's vertices, or not vertices, it's going to be block UVs. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a check here. And we're going to say if block type does not equal block type dot empty, because if it's empty we don't want anything. Then we're going to say block type equals, then we need to go into texture data, so texture data dot block type UVs at block type. And so what is that going to be? We're getting an error here, so we can't convert it. I need to actually make it block UV. That's my bad. We now have this block UV, and what we're going to do is, instead of just assigning this dirt UV for all of them, we're going to do block UV, and then since this is the front face, we're going to do dot or at faces dot front, and you can see that that now goes away. And this says block UV may be null here, but it won't. It's fine, because it should just equal, oh, we need to make it equal to a new dictionary. There we go. That should work now. So it's not going to be null, it's just going to be empty. So now we need to do front and back here, and then we need to do left here. Since we were adding them all, we need to do right here, and we need to do top, and then we need to do bottom. Okay, so now we're just assigning the appropriate UVs from here. So we're assigning the front to the front, back, left, etc., etc. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our chunk and actually get this all working. So it should work right off the bat, actually. So let me just go ahead and test it real quick. Just go ahead and do this. And we do actually get an error. The given key front was not present in the dictionary. And I was expecting this. I think the reason is because we actually do need to provide it in the beginning. And so what we'll do here is we'll just do the fake empty key values. So faces.front, and then just a new list of vector 2, but like nothing in it, you know? And then we'll just copy this down 6 times. Front, back, left, right, top, and then bottom here. That should make it so that we can use this without getting those weird errors. Okay, and we look back and we have something really weird. And yes, I forgot to actually change the texture. Let me go back to chunk here, and let me change the texture from dirttext.png to atlas.png. So now we're using that giant texture atlas. Now if we go back, there we go. Our dirt looks exactly as it did before. Cool stuff. Now we have to add grass, and for this we have to fix a couple errors before we do this. So in the chunk, what I did by accident is I actually only looped through the column height, which is the height map height. This is not accounting for any like empty space at the top. So I'm going to change that a bit. I'm going to just get rid of this completely. And I'm going to just change this column height. So we're looping through all of the Y positions up until the height of the chunk. And then we're going to have one check that's going to be crucial. So we're going to do if chunk blocks at xyz dot type does not equal block type dot empty, because there's no point in doing all this if the block type is empty. And then simply take this entire meshing algorithm, if you will, and just cut it and then paste it inside of that to make sure that we're only accounting for that one. And then we need to change a couple things. So instead of doing if y is less than column height minus 1, we do if y is less than height. This is for our top check here, and that should fix things. Just to make sure that this is still working, let's go ahead and run it. We zoom out, and we have the exact same result. And we go inside, and we have the exact same thing. Cool, that's all working now. Now let's add some grass. So for this, we're actually going to zoom out a lot, and we're going to be adding a new one here. Now you can definitely see that this is a bit inefficient, pretty inefficient actually. And the way we could fix this is by simply providing like coordinates for our block. But I think I will work on efficiency in like the next tutorial. So I'm going to just duplicate this here. I'm going to press enter here. The idea is that this will work as a little running example, and then we'll get into a way of fixing that, making it more efficient, you know. So for this, we're going to do block type.grass, and then here we are going to simply shift over it because the grass is over here. Now the top face is actually going to be over here, and the bottom face is going to be the dirt itself. So for the top face, we will just ignore it for now and make sure this is actually working. Let's first do this. So 3F, 4F, 4F, 3F. That's for the front face. So for the front, and then just copy it for the back and the left and the right. And then for the bottom, we can keep it the same. And then for the top, for now, we'll just keep it as dirt. Actually, we'll put it as the side facing grass to make sure that we got this working. But then we'll fix that in a second. Now let's go to our chunk and actually add some of these. So what we're gonna do is we'll just do, we'll only add dirt if this is equal to, or is less than the column height minus 1. So what we'll do is we'll actually do block type equals block type dot empty. And then we'll do is we'll simply just have one statement at the bottom here that does this, and we'll just say instead of adding our block type here, we'll just add our type here, and we'll just say if the column height is less than, or if y is less than column height minus 1, then we'll assign the type equal to block type dot dirt, and then we'll do if y is less than or equals column height minus 1, then whoa, what's going on here? Then we can do type equals block type dot grass. That should be adding our grass only at the very top, because we're only setting it if it's actually equal to that height. Okay, now we have that. We can run it. Zoom out here. There we go. Only the top of our chunk has this grass here. Now, of course, it's jacked up, and as you can see, it is actually upside down. So I got to think about why that would be, but it is working at least. So that's pretty cool. So now let's go ahead and add our grass and stuff. But first, I'm going to flip the texture data here. Not sure why, but I'm just going to take the bottom two and put them at the top, and then just take this and put this here and see if that works for this. It should, but let me make sure. We might get something funky. No, there we go. Now our sides look normal. So now we can just fix our top face. Okay, so for the top face, let's look at our coordinates here. In the atlas.png, it is over 7 blocks here, and it is down 3. So it is actually at 7 and 12. So we can use that as our starting base. And so, okay, so let's do that here. So we'll do 7 for the bottom. This is the bottom left here, the bottom left, and this is the bottom right. So it's going to be 7, it's going to be 8, and it's going to be 7 and 8. And then for this, we're going to do 12, 12, and then 13 out of 16 for these. You can get the idea. It's just like a coordinate system, kind of. That should work right off the bat. Could we go up? Oh, no, it did not. We have an empty one, so let's check why that is. So we went over 7, and then we did 12 and 13, which is not what that is. That is 13 and 14. Okay, okay, that's just math issue right there. That's a math issue. 13 and 14. Okay, not good at counting apparently. There we go, now it should be fine. If we go up here, yeah, there you go, there's your grass. There's your Minecraft looking grass there, all looking cool. And so I know I said that I would make it more efficient in the next tutorial, but I think that I'm actually going to do that now, because this is wildly inefficient, and looking at it now, we definitely, adding 3 blocks is already getting crazy. We're already at like, what, 100 lines of code with, so let's go ahead and change that. What we'll do is we'll actually just leave this here just in case this completely fails, but I'm going to create a new dictionary here, and I'm just going to create a public static, and it's going to be a dictionary, and then the key value is going to be the block type, and then the value is going to be a vector2 coordinate. So I actually didn't think about this, but for the ones with multiple blocks, we can't make it that simple. I thought it could be that simple, but it can't. For the value, we have to make a new dictionary, and this dictionary will have a value of faces, and then a value of a vector2. Okay, and then we can just replace that with that. Okay, so now let's add our faces here. So for the first one, we'll do block type dot dirt, new dictionary, and then we'll do faces dot front. Oh wait, it is a dictionary, so faces dot front equal to a new vector2. For the dirt, it is at I think it was 215, right? So 250, or no, yeah, 215. So we can just do 215 here. And then we can take this and use it pretty easily. So cool. So now we can add our other faces in. That is insanely more efficient. Okay. Faces dot left will have the same thing. Faces dot right, faces dot back. I should mention that the order doesn't matter here because it's a dictionary, and dictionaries use hash maps to search. It doesn't matter about order. And so they're all the same for dirt, so this should be fine. And so what we'll do is we'll just have a check and then just see if we can get this working with dirt. So we'll just do here else if equals block type dot dirt, or actually we can do not else if, we can do block type equals dirt at the top here and then do else if for this one. So else if here. And then here what we'll do is we need to actually create a new method here, and this method will simply add our appropriate UVs. So this will be a public, and this will be a dictionary of faces and then a list of vector2s, and this will be get UVs from coordinates, and then this will take in as an argument, it will take in a dictionary of faces and UVs, so a dictionary of faces and then vector2s, since there's only one vector2, coordinates. So what we can do is we can simply say that if this is equal dirt, then we just do block type equals get UVs from coordinates, and then we need to send in the dictionary here. So what we'll do is we'll do texture data dot block type UVs at block type. Oh wait, not block type UVs. Dot block type UV cord at block type. And so, oh, and we also need to change this to block UV. There we go. Okay, that's why. All right, so now what we're doing is we are taking this new, better formatted data, and we're sending it in, and what we're going to do is we're going to just take this coordinate and we're going to expand it for each of these. So this is addressing the bottom left, of course. So what we'll do is we'll just go back into our block here and make this method. So we'll do for var face in chords, I guess, right? So what we'll do is we'll do a for each loop, and then we'll do a var, and this will be our face chord in chords. This is going to be the key value pair. And then what we'll do is we'll just need to create a new dictionary up here. And so this will just be this one. So face data equals a new dictionary of all that. So we'll do face data, and then we need to do face chord.key equals a new list of vector2. And then here we're going to put our 4 values. And so remember we have the bottom left, and it goes top right, top left, bottom left, bottom right. So I'm actually going to copy this over to make it a little bit easier. And then what we'll do is, since we're doing the bottom left, we will actually just do the face chord dot value dot x divided by 16f, and then we'll do face chord dot value dot y, because that's the second value, divided by 16f. And then for the bottom right, it's actually 1 over. So it's going to be just the exact same thing, but plus 1 right here, plus 1f. And then for the top left, we do the same thing, but it's going to be up 1. So it's actually just going to be plus 1f, so plus 1f. And then for the top right, it's going to be plus 1 for both, so plus 1f and then plus 1f. And then at the very end, all we do is we simply return our face data. This should make it a bit more efficient. And so we're only doing this for the dirt, but let's see if it actually works here. Item with the same key has already been added. Key.back. Oh, did I accidentally make a duplicate? I did. So front, left, right, back, top, bottom. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure that works. So get rid of this breakpoint, get back up, and this is not what we wanted. This is not at all what we wanted. Okay, so after a lot of debugging, it's actually just a PEMDAS issue, and it's really annoying. But yes, you do have to put it in parentheses, which is really annoying. So I'm going to put this in parentheses here. So like whenever you add this 1F here, you do have to add the parentheses around it to make sure that that addition happens first, which is really annoying, but you know, PEMDAS exists. So there we go. Let me go down, man. Sometimes C# has way too many suggestions here. Okay, so that should fix it. It's a PEMDAS issue, so that should fix it. Hopefully, right? Okay. Now we have our grass. Nice. So it's using this new system, so now we can do it for our dirt as well. So I'm just going to take this and copy it, paste it down here, block type dot grass. Cool, that's our grass now. So now what we can do is we can just disregard that old stuff, and then just to say if it doesn't equal empty, then we'll simply do this instead. Makes it a lot more simple here. Boom. There we go. Okay, now if we run this, we should see our grass is exactly the same. So we made no visual progress. However, what we can now do is go to our texture data and get rid of this temporary garbage here. Just delete that all and delete that last part there. Now we have compacted it all the way down to this, and this is it. That's all we have to do. And we have our proper texture loading all done. So yes, it was like way too lengthy and way too much, you know, messing around with stuff, but it does work out at the end, so that's pretty good. And it should also fully work with our chunk meshing. There you go, works perfectly fine. So that's pretty much it for this video. I know it was very lengthy. If you have any questions, make sure to join my Discord. I'll be responding them in there. And yeah, thank you for watching. Consider supporting me on Patreon so I can continue making these videos, and have a good day. See ya.